program. I'm your boyfriend, George. So, listen, you ever feel like you're coming down with a cold and then you take cough syrup, but then maybe you take too much? And then you think, hey, this feels good, I'm gonna take some more. And then you say, hey, this feels good, I'm gonna take some more. And then 3 hours later, you're living in Lil Wayne's world. That's what it feels like. I'm excited about the program today. Harry Freeland's on the show. I accidentally tweeted that it was Harry Styles, though. So, here's the thing. I was excited to hear, Harry Freeland's gonna be on the show. When you accidentally tweet that it's the guy from One Direction, though, people go wild. Now the average age of the viewer is 13, which I understand is 12 and a half years old. If you don't know the name Harry Freeland, I highly recommend you stick around, not just because it's the show, but this guy spent 6 years in Tanzania following 2 men who have albinos. And it's how people relate to them, react to them with fear and superstition. The movie is called In the Shadow of the Sun. Especially when I talk about understanding other people, this is something you need to watch, right? So head cold aside, it feels pretty good. I woke up feeling great. I thought, is it because of all the cough syrup? Am I floating? Is that all right? Then I thought, no, maybe I'm feeling good because it's Buddha's birthday, right? And I know it's Buddha's birthday because we're friends on Facebook. Can I give you one piece of advice, and I had to learn this one the hard way? Because it's Buddha's birthday does not give you the right to go randomly rub people's bellies. It doesn't do that at all. Traditionally, it falls on the 8th day of the lunar month, which is pretty good. That could be a reason for my vim and vigor today, or maybe it's because Thursday is the season finale of The Nature of Things, and I dreamt that David Suzuki was arm wrestling a bear and won? Or maybe it's because the Quebec election result brings me much relief. Maybe that's it. To be clear, I am not a member of the Liberal Party. I do not support the Liberal Party or any party. But any party who doesn't have a separatist agenda, kind of okay with me. How about that stunning defeat of Baruwa, though, after starting out with a big lead like that in the polls? It was like when we were so excited for the Blue Jays last season, and then they ended up playing just like the Blue Jays. So it's business as usual. The Charbonneau Commission's investigation into corruption in the previous Liberal government is on, so c'est la vie. How ironic. Shall we deal with the day? So, also in politics, maybe the Alberta PCs will call it an election. I doubt it, but maybe New Brunswick has a scheduled provincial election in the fall south of the border. Hello to us, you watching us in America right now. Midterms are in November with hundreds of House and Senate seats up for grabs. Yes, they get to elect their Senate. How quaint. And sometimes it's really good, sometimes not so good. But now the party with the presidency basically always loses these things. So Barack Obama has been out campaigning, and he's got the big guns out there, right? Increasing the minimum wage, pay equity for women. Today, did you know, is Equal Pay Day in America. It's the Equal Pay Day marking the extra time the average woman must work into this year to earn as much as her average male counterpart did last year. It's April. It's April. Now is when she's catching up. Now in Canada, we do celebrate it at different times in different places. In Alberta, back on March 18th. In Ontario, the no-fun province, the gap is worse. It's not until April 16th. StatsCan says that women earn 71 cents for every dollar earned by men during the same period, which is completely unacceptable, so we should make Equal Pay Day every day. Every day. Obviously, there's a lot happening in Ukraine right now. We know that. Tough to get a hold of reliable information as the situation keeps changing. 3 political scientists from Ivy League schools have conducted an experiment. This is why it's important to be politically engaged and important to read, because you need to know what's going on. They asked Americans 2 questions. Number 1, can you point to Ukraine on a map of the world? And number 2, should the American military intervene in Ukraine? This is not us making fun of Americans. Canadians love to be smug about Americans, but there's lots that we don't know either. But the results of the study were so important, I just had to show it to you. Here's the correct response to question 1, right? Ukraine, right? That's where it should be, you know? But in terms of the experiment, guess where people thought Ukraine was? Right here. Boom. There are people who thought it was in Hudson's Bay. That's pretty, really interesting guesses as well as to where Ukraine might be. We know it's not in Hudson's Bay. We know it's not in the middle of the Brazilian rainforest or South Africa. Or my favorite, though, the people who seem to think Ukraine is actually within the United States. You need to change your education system. Question number 2, should America intervene? You're going to love this. The further away from the actual location the people guessed, the more likely they want to drop bombs on it. That's exactly right. The more wrong you were like, yeah, I don't care if it's Nebraska, bomb them some bitches.